So fat man.
I know every time you got to take a deep breath in is how you normally breathe. But are you ready for 30 men? It's a Royal Rumble.
Not really.
I mean, you like 30
Fuck
men.
you.
I do like 30 women too.
Wrong. Not all of them are Asian. So that's a lie.
Well, let's talk about that on the wrestling show. Welcome everyone, this is Sleazy.
This is a fat man.
And welcome everyone to another wonderful episode. First of all, what the hell is that? Is that Dietz underneath in his little mushroom hat?
It is not a hat. It is just a symbol of excellence. That is the Ravens.
Fuck
What's
that
up, y'all?
guy.
This is a wrestling podcast, sir. If you want to talk sports, come on the Best Star Sports Show Period 2 every Thursday nights live on Facebook.
Look at this motherfucker plugging shit. Speaking of plugging shit, Ryan Williams is here with us.
Hi-yo. And that seemed rehearsed.
It might have been.
What, you plugging shit?
Well,
That
certainly
depends on how drunk the woman is if I can plug shit.
fair point there. Today we have a very special guest with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of playing with himself on camera, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Daddybones is here with us.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
So welcome to the wrestling show. So before we continue on, tell us a little bit about the podcast and the show specifically with Ian.
Well, basically, right now, I'm hosting Ian versus Daddybones. It's a podcast I've been doing. It's a podcast YouTube channel. I've been doing it for the past year. Every week, I've been knocking out an hour-long show where I'm basically opening up action figures, and I'm dealing with Masters of the Universe, WWE Elite figures. I'm starting to dabble with Marvel Legends and some others, Ninja Turtles, and I got some other stuff on deck that's piquing my interest. And, basically, it's one of those things that I fell into during the pandemic, because when we're all stuck in our houses and not able to go anywhere, we're all dealing with it in our own ways. And for me, during the pandemic, I'm stuck at home, remote learning my kids. My wife and I just had a baby who's now 3 years old, and dealing with that, it changed our family dynamic. And now we're stuck dealing with a pandemic. So with us being stuck in the house, having to remote learn the kids, I was kind of driving myself crazy. So thanks to independent wrestler hybrid Sean Carr, I was
Ryan!
Oh, we're not even 3 minutes in. We're gonna
oh shit, what did I do? Well,
Sean's a big deal here.
Fuck that
yeah.
guy. I've never met him. I don't know. I can't wait to meet him face to face to be like, fuck you guys. Seventh round. What the fuck?
hit him with the double.
The long story short, sorry to interrupt you, Ian. We did like
you're good.
We did like a draft, and I picked Sean Carr like 5th round, and I was like, "What the fuck is Sean Carr?" He freaked out.
First off, it was the 4th round.
Whatever.
Like, what the fuck? We had like our picks for everybody. He was like, Sean Carr. Who the fuck is Sean Carr?
Well, during the pandemic, he donated some weights to me, and he gave me a lifting bar, and because I was in the process of getting my son some boxing lessons, and with Christmas that year, I refurbished the basement into like a little basement gym, and of course the kids wanted nothing to do with it once it was done. And because of his weight bar and everything that I had, I was able to start working out on a daily basis. So with being stuck in my house, working out and starting to collect action figures, you know, I had a buddy of mine who back in the day, like 2002, you know, like a lot of people when 8 Mile came out, you know, hey, we'll do our own raps. So me and my buddy Pete formed a rap group. And that was like years ago. But in 2021, my buddy Pete passed away and had a heart attack. And he was my best friend, my best man at my wedding. So for a lot of people, losing your best friend, it changes a dude. And for me, trying to deal with the depression of losing my best friend, I started drinking more than I normally did, but it wasn't becoming a problem. Like I wasn't day drinking or being irresponsible around my kids or none of that. It just became a frequent nightly down in the basement while I get myself solo shit faced while I'm the best DJ ever. You know what I mean? So that basically became my nightly thing. And from collecting the action figures, I basically got myself off alcohol just to call it a New Year's resolution. And this year I celebrated 2 years sober. So
Congrats.
a year ago, thank you very much. A year ago, I decided to take all these action figures I was buying because what happened was they came out with a Masters of the Universe line out of nowhere, like a 40th anniversary resurrection line they're calling Origins. So there was like a resurgence of like my favorite toy line from when I was a kid. And I decided to start buying these figures, and it wasn't just I want to get a He-Man and Skeletor and call it a day. I want to check everything off the list. I want to knock out every wave as they come out, and that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 3 years. So I used to host a podcast called the Original Geeks Podcast, and I haven't done that in like over 5 to 6 years. So I wasn't making content. So I wanted to do something new, reinvent myself without feeling like I was doing the same thing. So I started doing an action figure unboxing nostalgic memories podcast called Ian versus Daddybones, because I look at it, and the reason I call the show Ian versus Daddybones is sometimes, you know, it's you against the world, but sometimes it's you against yourself. And, you know, some days you really are your own worst enemy. So I look at it like that. Some days I'm not having the greatest of days, and it's me against me. So that's why it's Ian versus Daddybones.
Excellent. I'll pass it to Fat Man.
Sleazy said before we went on there that you and I probably crossed paths maybe once in the wrestling business. What did you do for Excite? Because I know you worked with Sleazy a bunch. So what was your job over at Excite Wrestling in Binghamton?
Well, if you don't mind me rewinding real quick,
Go ahead.
I first got into the local wrestling scene when I was doing the Original Geeks podcast, because it was like 2010 when ECPW and 2CW were doing shows in the Binghamton area. And because of Facebook at that time, I found out about wrestling promotions in our area. And like a lot of people are fans of ECW because of the violence and the chaos, I was always a fan of how tight-knit family unit like that crowd was and how special that venue was. And I always thought, like, if we had something like that in Binghamton, that would be absolutely amazing. And not only was this an opportunity for me to check out indie wrestling in my hometown, but it's actually going down in an American Legion that literally was right around the corner from an apartment I used to live in. And it just blew my mind starting to go to these shows. So while hosting a podcast, I met a guy named Keith Zimmer, because I started seeing posters for ECPW and even seeing local commercials. I think they were bringing Beefcake into town. So I basically I sent out feelers to ECPW and 2CW about, hey, I host a podcast here in Binghamton. I'd like to help promote your show. Maybe I can do an interview with a wrestler or two. You know what I mean? Just trying to shake hands and just get my foot in it. Not necessarily get my foot in the door, but let them know, hey, I'd really like to help promote if I can, you know? And that's basically how it started. 2CW was doing their own thing, but Keith Zimmer got back to me and basically gave me an opportunity to come to an ECPW show, promote the Original Geeks podcast while seeing, the product at the American Legion. And from there, that first show, I met so many people like Cage and IB Green, and from being a local kid, it goes back to Sean, because I knew Sean Carr before he got in the wrestling business when he was working at a grocery store as a high school kid. You know what I mean? And this was back when my now 23-year-old daughter was like 3 years old, and I'd get her on the weekends. So I remember Sean when he was doing at the customer service desk. And there was a period of time where I remember I wasn't seeing him at the Weiss anymore. And I thought maybe he quit, got a new job. Maybe he went to college, but he was going to wrestling school. And it wasn't until like I got an opportunity to interview wrestlers, and especially I got invited to their wrestling school. That's when I got to see Sean training, and I'm like, "Hey, you're that kid from the Weiss," and he's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And it's like, pretty much once Keith saw that I knew Sean, and he was like, "Oh, okay, so you guys know each other." Sean pretty much vouched for me and Keith basically gave me an opportunity to do interviews and stuff. So it was basically like baby steps, and then some of the guys left ECPW and became 3DW. So for 3DW, with a gentleman named Scott Fineout, we were filming all of 3DW's content, and we were doing a program called 3DW Monster, which the two of us produced, and it was a 60-minute program of like matches from 3DW. And Fred Spencer was the gentleman who owned it, and Fred got it on our local CBS affiliate. And basically, long story short, I went from being a ring announcer and like doing ring crew and tear down after shows to filming promos backstage and all the B-roll stuff, and eventually becoming a manager. And that's how I met Sleazy, because I happened to be managing Mark House at the time. And Sleazy, I believe you were the attorney.
Yeah, I was playing Mark's attorney at that point,
Because
and
he had a whole entourage of acting dudes.
just trying to get as many managers as humanly possible to come down in the ring with him. It was actually a great bit, honestly, because it got so ridiculous at one point. He had like 5 or 6 managers coming down the ring with him.
Yeah,
it was
he had
just
his social media guy. He had his he had his Italian goon.
Yeah, fucking Rocco.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, that's where we kind of met. Obviously, Mark trained me up in Rochester, and that's how I broke into Excite, was because of Mark vouching for me there. Dietz, I'll pass it along to you for a question.
No, for me, it's just like we all. Oh, Ryan took off.
No, he
No, I got it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, caught me. So for me, like, it sounds like you were big, heavy into the ECW. I'm guessing early days or late days, or just all of them.
I'm gonna say, like, I graduated high school June of '98.
Okay.
So in my junior year and senior year was when I got an opportunity to learn how to edit videos on like old ass VHS editing machines for like film and video 1 and 2 courses. So now that I was like able to learn how to edit videos and make my own commercials for like school projects, when I went back and watched ECW, the production value looked so guerrilla and underground while being state of the art. In the way that Paulie would do his own commercials that he would edit into his show before it goes to actual commercial breaks. So like that in itself was genius. And the fact that he would just steal music and you're going to hear White Zombie or Metallica, whether they're paying money or not. And it was just that blatant in your face pirate feel to it was just so amazing to me. And pretty much influenced everything I ever did, from like self-production, whether it was music or a podcast.
Fair enough. And I got one more for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
I'm super enthralled. What's the big gem? If you're a collector, you got a gem.
2 months. I'm waiting for my attorney a crowdfund to ship. Wow. Honestly, if I could share this story, a year and a half ago, It was like July. They had San Diego Comic-Con 2022, and Mattel at their booth unveiled the Eternia crowdfund, which back in 1986 it was $100 three-tower Masters of the Universe playset suspended by a monorail track, and basically when it came out in '86, it was brand new Nintendo money. So for them to bring it back in this 40th anniversary celebration, they wanted $550 for the crowdfund. And and at first it was possibly doable, but then at the last moment we had some responsibilities and bills, and it looked like the lump sum to take care of it I wasn't going to have, and my wife gave me the thumbs down. But I basically found a way to work around it, and through the magic of shop payment loans, I was able to finance that through 12 payments, and through having the Patreon for the first year of Ian versus Daddybones, I could honestly say all of my Patreon subscribers have funded 60% of Eternia.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's the one grail I'm most waiting for right now. Because my wife said no, I kind of made it work. She really wasn't exactly happy, but at the end of the day, I didn't get hit with divorce papers for Christmas, so that's a plus.
God bless the positives.
Right? I'm trying to find a quick picture of it, but honestly, it's not. I'll show it on camera here.
While you're doing that, so when a guest comes on, I like to ask this question: what got you into pro wrestling? Like as a fan, what hooked you into it?
Honestly, I'm gonna say my parents got divorced when I was 3, and next thing I know, my mom and I are living in Florida with my grandparents. We're living in a crappy apartment that got broken into, like the door kicked in by scumbags like at least 3 times when I was like 3 to 4 years old. And my dad showed up. My mom and dad got back together. We came to New York. So basically, when my parents got back together and remarried, we're living together in our first apartment as a brand new family. My dad gets cable, and it was one of those early '80s cable box that had the double flip buttons.
Yep.
And between the magic of MTV being new, cable, and the USA Network, it was the rock and wrestling era between the two networks that basically put Hulk Hogan on my TV. And while it was Hulk Hogan that did not get me into wrestling, the first match I ever saw was the Hart Foundation against the Killer Bees. So it was Bret the Hitman Hart tagging with Jim Neidhart that got me hooked as a wrestling fan, because I'm looking at this long-haired guy with this greasy, wet hair strutting around like he's hot shit with the sunglasses, and then he hops up on the turnbuckle, and no offense, but the fat guy with the beard goes over and takes the sunglasses off because Mr. Wet Hair can't take off his own sunglasses, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
No offense taken. My name is Fat Man. So
if there's offense happening on this show, we're doing it right.
Right. So mine's kind of a similar story. Cable box, but I went to TBS. And I went to the NWA. And the first person I ever saw was Dusty Rhodes. I can't tell you the first match I ever saw, but the first person I remember seeing was Dusty Rhodes.
I remember being confused because I was like 5-6 years old, and my dad bought me a Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So I remember flipping through the pictures and staring at a picture of Ric Flair facing Ricky Steamboat. And I'm like, wait a minute, how could that happen? Ricky Steamboat is the dragon in WWF, and Ric Flair is not in the like. I didn't even know that.
No, there's
that
more
was
companies out there. Yeah. So my first exposure was the NWA, and I am not a Hulk Hogan fan. Never have been, never will be. I just never saw the appeal because I grew up on the NWA. So I went to Flair, Dusty. Bret Hart was actually my guy. When I watched the WWF, it was Bret Hart. So
Bret Hart was always my main guy, and it's one of those moments where when Owen showed up, Owen immediately became my second favorite just because that's the little brother of my favorite wrestler. And it's like Owen Hart himself has had such an impact on me that's I named my firstborn son after Owen. So I have a 16-year-old Owen.
One of my favorite feuds of all time is Brett Owen and Ryan. I don't know where he went. I said the greatest cage match I've ever seen was Brett Owen. He's like, it's not a real cage match. All they do is moves inside cages. I'm like, that's way more than what they did in that match. The psychology
but there's
in
also
that
been
match.
stories about
Yes.
it where they both want. Yeah, they wanted it to be psychological instead of just violence.
Yeah, and that's the best steel cage match I've ever seen. Still have ever seen. So, but
It's hard not to enjoy that. It really isn't. Especially when you feel the aura behind why it existed in the first place. Just quickly to cover what I...
damn, pal.
God damn.
Yeah, this is what Ian's talking
Okay.
about.
Yeah, it doesn't come with all the figures, but like I said,
Yeah,
back in the 80s, that was brand new Nintendo money, so it makes sense that it's PlayStation 5 money. But my whole thing is, I'm not opening it. I'm keeping it in the box, and I do not want to open it because the problem with the vintage 80s version was those tracks was made of such a brittle plastic that was the first thing to go. And I know it's been 40 years. They've had plenty of opportunities, especially with their Hot Wheels plastic, to make improvements for durability. But I still don't want to take any chance because, if anything, I've had some people mocking me for doing Ian versus Daddybones, basically saying, "Oh, he's just trying to be like Matt Cardona." That shows a great inspiration for me, along with Pixel Dan and Toy Habits and whatnot. But the thing is, I flat out saw Matt Cardona debate whether or not he wanted to cut the tape on a 40-year-old Millennium Falcon that was still new in the box. And even the guy that owned this toy store that sold him the Millennium Falcon was like, that thing's going to lose half its value the minute you cut that tape. So part of me just wants to hold on to it, just to smile at it in the morning while I have my coffee and yell at my dog to don't pee on the couch. We don't go inside. So
it's literally what I just had to do not even 30 seconds ago.
I gotta say that for Ryan all the time.
This was a pre-order that came with the WWE 2K games. Balor from NXT, Demon Balor, where you're a figure guy. That's what I grabbed at first. I was like, he should appreciate this.
Very cool.
I got way too many wrestling Funkos to even show you, but I did get a Grail for Christmas, which I was fucking ecstatic about.
What was that?
So it's a limited edition Judas Priest Rob Halford.
Wow.
And my wife found it in some sort of like thrift shop. $3.
Is it still in the package or
in
is
the
it
packaging?
Do you know what the company is on the box? What the manufacturer is?
Oh, it's Funko. It's Funko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's looked it right up. Values $420 on it right now.
There's a company called Loyal Subjects. They have a line called BST AXN. They're really popular with their Ninja Turtles right now. But we have a local store in Binghamton called Soundaround, and the last time I was there, I saw that BST AXN had an Ozzy Osbourne figure, and it just looked absolutely ridiculous of Ozzy with like 3 alternate heads and whatnot.
Nice.
3 alternate heads.
Yeah, making different faces.
Alternate heads are a big thing in the figure company now.
Actually, around Christmas time, right before Christmas, I got my Ultimate Kurt Angle in the mail, and the Ultimate Kurt Angle face actually comes with the crying Kurt.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to have him posed on the shelf on his knees with the belt around his waist, holding his two gold medals in the air while he's just making the crying face.
That's pretty awesome.
But they have an AJ Styles figure that has the alternate head with where he's got the Cameron Diaz thing going with his hair.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because it's made to get put on a stand, so he's doing the Pele kick, and his hair's hanging, and Gravity's doing his thing with the hair.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's specific with why it was designed.
Okay, so let's we're gonna move on a little bit here.
All right.
Boys.
7.
It's Rumble Week. It's fucking Rumble Week.
It is Rumble.
Go!
Yeah, I'm looking forward to taking Sleazy's money, and then I get drunk, and then he takes it right back.
Okay,
You're right.
before
Happens
we go
every year.
anywhere else on discussions on anything we talk about for the Rumble, I want everybody's who they think is going to win before we talk about anything else. Who's winning
Okay.
the Royal Rumble? Men's and women's.
Okay.
Well, no, we'll go. Ian's the guest. He can go first.
Yes, he goes first.
Of course.
I'm gonna say, with everything that's been going on, based on what I'm hearing, I mean, because we all hear the same internet rumors, I'm sure, with message boards, but I honestly think with the way Raw had Cody and Punk staring each other down, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of have another Batista John Cena or a Brett Lex Luger moment where both of them go out and are the last two. And it has to be settled at Elimination Chamber.
I
don't mind it.
Okay, well, the women's. No, yeah, I don't want discussion. This is where it all gets fucked up. I don't want this. I just want the picks to hear the hot, fresh gossip. Who do you want? You got your dual thing. Who's winning the women's?
Unfortunately, at the moment, I really don't have a pick for the women's Rumble, and it has not. I'm not being sexist or saying I don't care about it by any means. It's just I haven't been paying attention enough to the female storylines. The only thing with that, because honestly, I don't have cable. I'm not able to watch a full episode of Raw. I get the majority of what I see from Raw off the clips that they put on social media, especially when it's full segments. So I get to see the whole thing in its entirety. So for the most part, I've been catching up on the social media clips without being able to watch a full episode. So usually when it comes to the women's, the women's, it's usually just been, I've been catching glimpses of Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, but I know Rhea Ripley is the women's champion, and there's so many elements right now that it's kind of hard. Without me going out of my way to focus on paying attention to it, it's hard for me to give an answer.
Punk, Bailey.
God damn it, you stole my thunder. I was going to say Bailey, too. I didn't think anyone was going to say Bailey but me.
I 100% was going to say Bailey.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Punk and Bailey.
Punk and Bailey.
Punk and Bailey, yeah.
I think it's going to be Cody and Bailey.
I don't think they're going to do Cody back-to-back years.
I agree with Cody, but I wouldn't mind seeing Randall win.
He's not. I don't think he's going to win.
You cannot say he's not in it just because he's in the Fatal 4-Way.
No, I never said that. I said I don't think I think the Final Four.
Like I said, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. That'll make him a 3-time winner.
Correct. That's where I get that at. The other thing is, what's one thing that's never happened in a women's Royal Rumble that has never happened before?
A man one.
Somebody making their debut and winning it.
Are you thinking Jade?
Jade Cargill.
Gross.
That would be gross.
But it kind of makes sense in my world.
Disgusting.
Absolutely, because that means she's getting force-fed to Rhea.
Disgusting. And no, you're not going to debut with someone in the Rumble, have them win, and then force feed them to somebody else.
No, hell no.
No, she's going to beat Io.
Vince made a fortune saying anything can happen. I mean, anything could happen.
Final Four of the men's: Cody, Punk, Drew,
Gunther.
Gunther.
I'm gonna say Nakamura.
No,
because the whole Cody Nakamura feud. That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
Nakamura is going to reach Final 6.
But Gunther's definitely.
Here's where I get to throw a little shit in all episode. 2 people have appeared in the Final 4 of every single Royal Rumble match they have been in. Who are they?
Well, Gunther.
Gunther's one.
Multiple Royal Rumbles.
Fuck you.
Orton?
Punk. You can't do Punk.
Wasn't Orton?
Cena?
No.
No, not. I know not.
Cena
Secret.
and Orton were
Undertaker.
both jobbers at one point, Spot.
Undertaker.
What? Undertaker.
Roman Reigns has appeared in
Reigns.
6 Royal Rumbles and has been in the Final Four every time. Batista has been in 5 Royal Rumbles, has been in the Final Four every time.
Wow. That's an interesting one.
Right?
I like that.
This one popped up on that.
Oh, I know
video.
now. Orton 2004. Duh, Mick Foley. Okay.
This one popped up on the video on Raw, so pissed me off. How much is the most eliminations accumulative for the Women's Royal Rumble, and who is it?
For the women's?
For the women's.
Naya?
That's what
I
was
hope not.
No.
Rhea has
Rhea.
20 total eliminations over the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Yeah, Rio went
Very
ham on the,
nice.
like
Last year.
I think it was the last Rumble she went
Yeah.
crazy.
There's only been 4 women who have appeared in every single Women's Royal Rumble.
Natty.
Natalia.
Natalia is one. Who's the other 3?
Charlotte.
Belair.
Natty was said in the video. The other 3 weren't.
Belair.
No.
Molly Holly.
No.
No.
One isn't with the company anymore.
Sasha.
That's gonna end this year. Sasha was
Maybe.
in it last year.
Naomi.
No.
He wasn't in it last year.
Dana Brooke is the one that's not with the company anymore.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
The other 2 are
Hold on.
Tamina
God damn it. She ain't going in anymore. She retired.
and Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan.
Interesting.
Never would have guessed them. Ever.
Asuka
I'm
missed
just
1
reading-
year.
We only got 2 more left, so I'm just doing them now. Fuck it.
Okay.
Highest number of wrestlers to eliminate one wrestler. What is the men's record and what is the women's record?
8 for the men.
I'm gonna say 6 for the women.
Incorrect.
All right, 7 then. Ho.
Seven's always the answer.
Oh, wait. The other 2 would like to have an answer, I suppose. Let me have a
Seven's
good
always
one.
the answer. Why didn't I say 7?
Well, it's got the person being eliminated is probably either Braun Strowman or like Mark Henry or somebody. And it had to have been like
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Wow.
I'm
Well,
thinking Great Khali
No.
was the one being eliminated.
No. The one being eliminated on the
Diesel.
men's side,
Diesel.
Yoko.
Viscera.
Oh,
Oh.
Mabel.
Oh,
two-
so
In
12.
2007, Viscera required 9 wrestlers to eliminate him.
Nice.
Second place, Mabel took 7 wrestlers to eliminate him in 1994.
Same person. God damn it.
The women's record is held by Nia Jax. Last year's Rumble, 11 women eliminated her.
Wow.
They all said, "Bitch, fuck you."
That's an
Hey,
assist.
if we eliminate her, she can't hurt us.
No broken noses.
Including the greatest Royal Rumble. All the Royal Rumbles, but that one seems to be the bastard one. But for this statistic, this one is included. So including the greatest Royal Rumble, out of the top 10 Iron Man Royal Rumble performances, how many of them have won the Rumble? Like that, their Iron Man performance was also, they won that Rumble of the top 10.
4.
Hold on. There's 2 off the top of my head. 2 off the top of my head. 3. I got 3 off the top of my head.
Uh-oh.
I'm thinking 4.
Well, is this including the women's rumble?
I'm thinking 3.
It does not include the women's rumble?
This is just the men's times.
Okay. The 3
I think it's got to be 4.
the 3 off the top of my head is Benoit, Mysterio, and Edge.
Oh, I didn't think about Edge. I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think. I don't think of him as an Iron Man.
He was number 1.
Yeah, and I don't think. Honestly, I don't think about it.
I'm shocked you can't remember. The answer is 4. Dietz is correct. I'm shocked you can't remember the other person.
Flair.
Oh,
it
that's stupid.
Flair. I'm
So
like, wait a minute, there's got to be another one.
Yeah,
Flair.
'cause Flair came in at 3.
Yeah.
So the times go as this down the list. Daniel Bryan spent 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 5 seconds in the greatest Royal Rumble.
Didn't win
Gunther
it.
has the record for the traditional 30-man, which is 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 40 seconds. Rey Mysterio did an hour and 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Benoit did an hour and 1 minute and 35 seconds. Bob Backlund, 1993, did 1 hour and 1 minute and 10 seconds. Triple H in 2006 did 1 hour and 16 seconds. So I hate to say we're Mysterio that year. Jericho in 2017 did 1 hour and 13 minutes. Ric Flair did 1 hour and 2 seconds in 92. Reigns did 59 minutes and 48 seconds in 2016. Edge did 58 minutes and 30 seconds in 2021.
Wow.
Technically, Randy Orton is tied with Edge for 10th because they started that Rumble. Because like 1 and 2 doesn't matter.
Yeah. So let's go with that. Will the record be broken this year?
No.
Maybe
Women's
on
maybe,
Rumble
men's
elimination.
no.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. Women's maybe, men's no. Unless Gunther does it again.
We've already
he
kind
could take it this year.
we've already kind of talked about the actual Rumble matches a little bit. We've already given our picks and opinions on that. We have 2 other matches that have been announced. The Fatal 4-Way, which is Reigns, Orton, AJ Styles, LA Knight. And then we have Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title.
Logan Paul wins. LOL.
Dude, that's gonna be a fucking match, though.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Fucking match.
Yep. That's gonna be a really good match, but Logan Paul wins. LOL.
Does anybody have a different opinion to that?
I don't, because Paul might as well drop the title at Mania at this point.
Yep.
No, the big money's at Mania.
That's what we just said. He's gonna drop the title at
Okay,
Mania.
I heard him wrong. Don't drop that.
Have you met him?
You mad the fucker?
If you opened up your ears and shut your mouth more, you'd be able to hear better.
See, look, like Sleazy said, I'm the guest. I don't really know like who you guys are like, watching for and whatnot. And I'm looking at it like, I don't know, like take Logan Paul. I don't know what everybody's opinion of Logan Paul is. All I know is for me watching it, I've kind of enjoyed like his whole being a celebrity crossing over. You know what I mean? I found like him being respectful of the business, like learning what he needs to do. You know what I mean? He's fitting in perfectly and he's getting it. So he's amazing to watch a lot of the shit he's able to do. And I think they're going to keep building him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to drop the belt at WrestleMania. I think he is going to beat Kevin Owens and hold on to it. But I think it's not like Lawrence Taylor making a one-time appearance. It's not like they're having Pamela Anderson just show up to wave at people in the crowd. He's under contract. He's getting paid money. And he's like all of them, he's putting his body on the line. But I feel he's got that extra edge to prove to not just the WWE audience, but he has his own personal audience that some are even in disbelief that he's even in WWE. So I think they're going to get as much out of Logan Paul as they can. So I think he's going to keep the belt for a while.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul is an absolutely fantastic athlete. Sleazy thinks he's a piece of shit, but also thinks he's a fantastic athlete.
Sleazy thinks he's a piece of shit. Japan won't let Logan Paul back in, so that's fine. He's paying his punishment. Get over it.
I will not, for one. How dare you disrespect Japan?
A
I
country
didn't film
Sleazy
in the
has
fucking
never been
jungle.
to.
He did. And he apologized after. That's how this world works. You do something stupid, you apologize, everybody's happy.
Nope. Not this asshole.
Hey, Michelle apologizes to me every time she fucks you. She says she does something stupid, so...
That's fair. That is very fair.
Jesus.
Universal title.
Undisputed World Heavyweight Universal Championship of the world.
AJ Styles is 100% taking the pin in that match.
But who's making the pin?
Reigns.
Think?
Reigns yeah.
I mean, he could do the Ultimate Baller thing again and stack them
Stack
like he did in WrestleMania because that was fucking cool.
As as my scorecard will say this weekend, Reigns is not making the pin this weekend.
What?
Orton's
You
winning that
think
belt.
Reigns dropping?
Orton's winning that belt.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
see
but then
it.
my prediction for WrestleMania can't happen if he loses the belt.
What's your prediction?
If we do get Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, I'm predicting his daughter's gonna turn on him and join the bloodline.
Oh.
They can do all of that, and they don't need the belt. They got
You're
this
doing the
big,
belt.
they
Very
got
true.
this big fucking red necklace.
Rock versus
Very true.
Roman doesn't need the belt, but does WrestleMania really need Rock versus Roman?
No, but
No.
SummerSlam does.
I think it's one of those type of things where the internet wants it to happen and is trying to make it happen. Because all I know is, like, we got
It will happen.
that animated Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Yep.
And then after that movie hit theaters, everybody on the social media is like, "Oh my God, they need to do a movie with Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield." And then we got Spider-Man: No Way Home, and they wished it into reality.
Okay, someone
And-
stop you right there. Sleazy will have no clue what the fuck you're talking about.
Nope.
He
Well-
watches 1970s TV shows, so I don't. That's what he's watching today. So
I love Different Strokes. Different Strokes is amazing.
Ryan loves Different Strokes, but it's the wrong Different Strokes.
Also true.
You sit on your hand for like 5 minutes, goes numb. It's like a stranger's jerking you off.
Yeah,
Just a stranger.
that's just Different Strokes.
See, babe, I told you it wasn't weird.
I'm,
Dutch rudder. You move my arm, you move yours. It's okay.
the way we get
Dutch rudder, yes. Double Dutch rudder, double Dutch rudder.
the way we get Rock and Roman at Mania without having to worry about the belt is Orton gets the belt now.
Okay, who the hell is this Julian saying that No Way Home wasn't that great though? One, we're a wrestling podcast, but two, fuck off.
Hey, Julian's good people. Julian's my people.
Well,
Hey,
that explains it then.
hey, you can yell at
Julian's
people
fucking
about Spider-Man
We
on
have
your,
a really good
on your
live
other
stream.
podcast.
Yeah, that sounds a
I'm yelling
wrestling
at you
podcast.
about Reigns on this podcast.
Okay, I did.
Orton wins the belt because they don't need the belt for Mania. And if Reigns is still the champion at Mania, there's going to be there's no way The Rock, there's no way Jay Briscoe's winning the Ring of Honor title.
No, it's not.
No way The Rock is becoming the undisputed Universal.
100% correct.
Very
Because
true.
No,
one,
because he goes over.
Rock and Roman's not happening at this WrestleMania.
Well, I think
I
they
disagree.
wanted it to happen last year, and his schedule wouldn't permit it.
Yeah,
Then
this
again,
has
they
been,
had Cody's story.
I just
know
don't
if they
see
were
it this
expecting
year.
Cody to come back. So
Again, Cody's story doesn't have to end with Roman 100%.
this ends with the belt.
It ends with the belt.
Uh,
But I just see Cody Roman again. Again, I'm fine either way, to be honest. I just don't think Mania needs. I'm not against Rock Roman Mania. I don't think WrestleMania needs it. That's just my thinking. It just doesn't need it.
We got a lot of firepower in the WWE currently.
They've already tried to get Rock Roman twice in the
Yep.
past 2 WrestleManias, and shit's fucked up. Realistically, it all depends on the Rock schedule. And now that he's part of the board of directors of TKO,
hmm
I think his schedule is going to be cleared up enough that this is the Mania to pull the trigger. Don't wait till SummerSlam. This man's also a fucking movie star and all that shit. If you got 3 months now,
So if Orton does win, that does leave Elimination Chamber for Reigns Orton rematch. But at the same time, isn't Reigns not going to be at Elimination Chamber?
exactly.
Correct.
So
Roman goes away.
until Mania.
Yeah. The build is that. The fantasy booking over exertion in me goes, Rock costs him the belt at the Rumble. But that's just me getting off fanboy and all this.
What I
this-
can see is Jimmy and Solo interfering. Then maybe Rock comes out, clears them up, and then Orton hits RKO, wins because Roman's distracted or whatever. You don't need, like I said, you don't need Roman to take the pin. Just the way I see it is, I just
But-
don't think Roman's losing. But again, I think AJ Styles is 100% taking the pin because LA Knight's not. He's too hot, and Orton just came back.
So
So,
here's
I,
my-
I
Styles is the
wanna,
one that could afford to take the pin.
I
You
want to
say
add on to
Roman?
your situation just a real quick. If Never mind.
Well, what I was going to say real quick is I hear Roman, I hear Solo. The only other thing I don't hear being a factor in the match is Jimmy and Jay, because they still have their thing going in the background. And I kind of like how it's going to, like, it's heading to this brother versus brother. And I like how the one's in blood colors and the other one's in crypt colors. So it's like they're at gang wars with each other. So I just wonder how that's going to factor in.
One of two things could happen. Either they're going to do Jimmy versus Jay at Mania. And maybe...
Plan since Ground Jewel, anyways.
That's been a plan since Crown Jewel. Thank you. Got to get this shit in. And you can have Jay come down, like, and then just take care of, like, Jimmy and Rock come down solo or whatever. Or, here's an interesting twist. Maybe have Jay go back to the Bloodline? I mean, I don't want that to happen, but they're both on different shows, but maybe that... It's like, we're talking about this. I love that we talk about this. I always say it. We don't know. That's what makes it fun.
Yep.
You know what would be cool? If they booked and hired enough fucking Samoans or War Games to be nothing but them.
I mean, Jacob Fatu's out
Jacob's
there.
out there.
Tamatonga, Tangaloa.
Yeah.
That's 6.
got-
Right off the bat, we only need 8.
There's
Hey,
somebody
bring
else.
back Rikishi.
There's Lance.
Top of
Lance,
page,
thank
baby.
you.
You got King Haku can crawl in the damn cage.
Yeah, there you go. There's
I'm
enough
not
of them.
sure-
Bring Yokozuna back from the dead. He'll be good.
I don't know if it's racist to put 8 Samoan savages in a cage and let them at each other, but it'll make money.
The what is it? The Samoan
warfare.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was
It's terrible.
okay.
You know that?
So here's the thing. We need, if we're gonna do Jimmy versus Jay, we need Sasha back so we can have Snoop play out Jay. And we go dig up Biggie and have Biggie play
No,
out
you have
Jimmy.
the game sing him out.
No, just get the holograms.
They had the hologram shit.
Fair.
Again,
Hologram
no
to
entrance
top.
will ever top Dominic Mysterio from last year, but they can try.
They put out a top 2023 entrances. Mysterio was number 3. I appreciated that.
What? No, not that one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I don't watch the product here. Oh,
I
fuck.
know that's a trigger to me. You know, watch the fucking product that we talk about all
That's
the
a
time.
trigger for me.
Well, actually, that actually goes right into a segue into news and rumors, actually. And it actually kind of touches on. So, Ian, do you have Netflix?
Yes.
So, one of the things that I complain about constantly is that I don't have access to Raw or SmackDown. And the joke is, well, it doesn't matter. I don't watch the product. But I don't have USA Network. I don't have Fox because I'm in a fucking area where I can't even get local TV stations without paying $70 to Xfinity right now. So I don't have access to any weeklies right now. Well, as noted today,
already online.
yeah, it's a lot easier to do it these days, but we won't talk about it. $5 billion with a B dollars for 10 years for Raw and international PLEs and Raw, SmackDown, NXT internationally.
Flip it.
I'm
And-
considered
and-
international.
And
Excuse me.
they have the option to opt out after 5 years
Yep.
if they're not happy, and if they're pleased, they can auto renew for another decade. So we
Yeah,
could be
so
looking
we-
at the next 20 years
Yep.
of
So
WWE on Netflix.
so we before anyone came on, me and Slee talked about that, and I said
Yes.
WWE would not put a clause in there for an auto renewed if they don't get that price has got to go up. So if
Right.
Netflix is happy with it, there's probably like an increase in price for the
So,
rights fees.
Into
There has
that.
to be. WWE would never allow that to happen unless that fee goes up.
So more than likely, you're probably right on that. The big thing that I noticed when reading through all the fucking news that dropped today was if you have Netflix Premium, you will be able to watch Raw, no commercials.
So probably what they would do is, this is just me just thinking, because I didn't hear that. I was kind of wondering, I was going to bring that up. What tier is it on? Is it on the whole tier? Or do you get commercials? Do you not? I'm pretty sure that there'll probably be commercials in.
How does it
Raw.
work live?
Well, that's another interesting thing is
And I
that,
was going to bring that up too. Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
You'll probably, because Raw, you still get feed throughout the whole thing, just no commentary. So they'll probably go, for people watching on Netflix Premium, you could be with us, because that's what AEW used to do, remember?
Mhm.
If you're watching, that's what they'll probably do. And then this break's sponsored by Twix. You know, they're going to be ads, but there may not be commercials.
No, it'll be the same thing that we saw earlier last year. Is you'll have the matches by
Well, we're still having that
Mountain Dew
now.
Blue Black, or
So when those
I got
commercials are on, that's what you're going to get.
I got one. What if when we go to a commercial, we show picture-in-picture of the match continuing? What if you're watching the match, you just get the picture-in-picture ads as you're watching the match, so that it plays as you watch?
That was another thing I was going to bring up.
could
too.
also
That's a
have
good
ads
point.
through the actual banners themselves. I mean, fuck, they're now live.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying about too. Maybe they do. For if you're on, enjoy this picture in picture. If other one watching on the other one, here's commercials. Like, they could do that too. It's a possibility. I mean, it's a business. They're going to make money either way. And I know Sleazy was like that. It's, what is it? 10 billion for 5 years. I think with 5
Yeah,
billion, 5 billion for 10. It's 10 billion for 5 years. But Sleazy did also have the international rights are in that too. So it's 2 billion a year. And what were they doing? That's still a huge amount of. That's
For
huge.
one show. We're
That
not
is
even talking
huge.
SmackDown or NXT.
That is
Right.
huge.
Now, here's my thing. Peacock's still going to be a thing, right? For like the $5
So-
a month?
Yes. So what it is essentially all the international rights.
Whatever current
Go to
deals are in
Netflix.
place too.
Yeah.
Like Peacock
Yeah.
with WWE deals like till 2025. Whatever current deals are in place are staying in place until
Yeah.
they expire. I guess then it's bye-bye.
Yeah. So essentially is for US customers
Well, I don't think
only
so, because
you get all the PLEs are on Peacock. For international customers, they're all Netflix.
Me,
Right.
Not no more WWE. Well, you can still
Fuck that asshole up there.
right, but
watch me still be able to get the channel as a regular channel with Bell because in Canada we're fucked like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
but
So one of the other things that kind of made everyone's head kind of cock was the fact that Netflix doesn't do live streaming, really.
Right.
So
they do two things.
So in the last 12 months, they've streamed 6 items. Chris Rock,
Isn't
Love
there
is
like
Blind
an
Brazil,
iHeartRadio Awards or something stupid like that?
Screen Actors Guild,
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Netflix Cup, and then Netflix Slam, which is their own produced stuff. So technically, this would be the very first weekly show that they stream live on Netflix.
Question.
Yes.
So say you have Peacock, and Raw used to go on. So say last night's Raw will be on Peacock a month later. That's just the way it is. Can you go back the next day and watch it off on Netflix?
Don't know.
Don't know, but
Is there
I would
like
to
episode
assume
listings you can watch
should
on
be.
Netflix?
Yeah, and
That would be
that's
another interesting too. You can binge watch Raw. It's like I missed Raw the last month. Binge watch it. It's if they could, that's pretty. Actually, I think it's a really good idea. So
They got the entire fucking library of Raw. That's a fucking. All of us are
They're-
fucking wet
I'm
dreaming.
not sure
of
if they'll
right
do
now.
that.
They're
because
not
WWE
just
Network on
going to
Peacock.
do Raw. They are going to have a lot of shit on Netflix with WWE now.
Yep, because they already said they're going to do TV TV shows and movies based on WWE intellectual properties.
WWE, Netflix and WWE just had a baby, and it's about to explode for wrestling fans.
But you know what the biggest deal I think coming out of this is? Everyone keeps talking about Raw. Raw celebrates 31 years. After 31 years, Raw is leaving television, which means with this Netflix deal, ratings no longer mean shit for Monday Night Raw.
Correct. I've been saying ratings don't matter for years.
Right.
For WWE, because they're an established product, cable's changing. So
if this works, AEW is on HBO Max within a year.
Oh yeah, without question, yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Without question.
I agree with that. And SmackDown being on US, it's gonna change. Everything's now changed. And
this deal just changed.
Has a channel now.
Here's the thing, that even if this doesn't work, the world has changed in that respect. Mm-hmm. Because now the weirdo Thursday night football shit now becomes legitimate. Because now we can say, okay, we have weekly episodic live shows on Netflix. Where is the next step? And I hate to bring up sports, but it is a real pusher here, because that's where most of viewership comes from these days, especially when you talk about network TV, and now you're starting to talk about YouTube TV getting NFL Sunday Ticket. You know, we have obviously the Thursday Night Football I referenced before on Amazon. Now we have Netflix stepping into live streaming on a weekly basis. Where is cable being left now?
And also rewinding it too, even before WWE launched WWE Network, Vince McMahon had dreams of having a WWE cable network, but that's beside the point. What I'm getting at is with WWE Network being a streaming service, and it's before WWE Network launched, mainstream sports tried dipping their toes in the water first with like Game Pass. I mean, I don't even know what the name of the service is.
League Pass, MLB.TV. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't watch regular sports like that, so I don't really know what their streaming subscription services was. But DirecTV comes to mind.
Yeah, for Sunday Ticket. Yeah. Now, question is, does Raw stay on Monday nights, or does it matter anymore?
So I don't think it matters anymore.
It doesn't matter, but Nick Khan, who is the president or whatever you want to call him of WWE, actually was on Pat McAfee's show today, and he said that Raw is staying on Monday nights.
Okay.
It's Monday Night Raw.
It is Monday Night Raw.
It has to be. It's like Taco Tuesday. It has to stay.
Yeah, even SmackDown doesn't have that, you know, because they've been waffling back and forth between Thursday and Friday nights over its history. But it's always and Tuesdays when they were live for a while. Yep. So Monday Night Raw has always been Monday Night Raw, unless
Nick Khan also said a month ago, Raw doesn't necessarily have to be on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
So he does.
Well, there's the thing is that they were hedging their bets just in case they
on network TV. Yeah.
Look what happened. They just got fucking Brinks truck after Brinks truck after Big truck fucking dropped on them like it was fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you think AEW moves to Mondays on cable?
No.
Actually, that wouldn't.
They could, but I don't think
they could. But they need to reboot.
Actually,
put Dynamite on Mondays and put Collision on Wednesdays.
You're actually onto something, because sometimes
Rampage on Fridays, Wednesday, Fridays.
They get preempted for basketball and hockey, even on TV, and especially when March comes in the we got not on Wednesdays. But putting that on Monday means they don't get preempted.
That's fair.
You know, they're only preempted once or twice a year, but especially during playoff season.
But then you also got to deal with the dogs, especially around this time of year, Monday Night Football.
Well, WWE's been doing that for years, but they're more
WWE's been around for years.
Yeah.
WWE's been dealing with that for 30 years. They know how to combat Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So
AEW.
moving it to Monday, not a bad idea, but also
It has its own
AEW barely
challenges.
beat NXT, man. Like, what the fuck are they gonna do against Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
right.
I think that's I don't know. I mean, for me
I would
personally,
say keep it on the night that you're established, quote unquote.
I'd like
A
to see him do Monday,
downfall
but
in
that
TNA
roster
is
needs to
back.
revamp like
What was
nobody's business.
Say that again. Say that again, Deeds.
I said I wouldn't mind if they moved it to Monday, but that roster needs a complete overhaul then of how they deal with their talent. Because
They need
right
it
now
now.
it's literally just splish splash. I hate to say it, but they're lost without Maxwell.
well,
And
don't worry.
Adam Copeland is a regular person in AEW.
Yes,
what the
correct.
fuck?
And it's just weird.
How quickly they turned him into a regular guy.
Dude, he's
Thank you.
wrestling fucking what, Serpentico or whatever? Fuck off.
I mean, pun intended, he lost his edge and he walked into it.
That's a good fucking point. I like that.
At this point in time, they really need to look into themselves and say, what's talent do we have here, and where can we put them in a place where they can really truly flourish? The Edges, the Christian Cages, the Stings, although Sting is not going to be there much longer, but all these, elder statesmen of their roster should be really truly trying to get their next generation of talent over, and it's not happening.
No.
It really isn't.
So you're telling me this is AEWCW?
Potentially, yes.
I think it's becoming TNA at a point to where extras would get dark match opportunities and tryouts for WWE just to have Bradshaw stick his head in the door and say, TNA, TNA. You know what I mean?
Hey, TNA's back, bitches.
Yes. Hey, I'm very impressed with their entire makeover and resurrection.
Deeds said get be a papa, so he had to leave.
Okay.
So
I'm
speaking of AEWCW, you see what Meltzer said about AEW's attendance.
I did not.
He said
WCW 2000.
2,000 like.
Every time they go to the venue, it's like lower and lower. They're getting like 2,000 people at a venue.
Now, I'm going to look up what he said.
While you're looking it up, I'm going to do. I remembered a couple of them, so I'm just going to do the 5 A versus Bs that I have.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Can't remember I did this first one, but I want to do it again with all the talk of everything. TNA or Ring of Honor?
Which one to choose?
This isn't current. This is full time, right?
This is all time. And if you want me to put a fancy spin on it, you own the complete copy. And as it's going new or whatever, you get that stuff too, but you own the footage. Would you rather have and be able to watch TNA from the beginning or Ring of Honor from the beginning? Which means which one you like more? Like,
I'm gonna say
the Ring of Honor
Honor.
half behind them.
I'm gonna say Ring of Honor only because there's an evolution of young talent where TNA's early years was a lot of talent that WWE, like basically AJ Styles, they had him under contract. They got his contract when they bought WCW. They looked him over. They decided not to keep him. They got rid of him. Jarrett got him.
AJ Styles admits they wanted to keep him, but he had to move, and he didn't want to move to cost his wife her teaching degree.
Did not.
It was not WWE. WWE wanted AJ. AJ didn't want to go because of his wife, which is honorable.
Okay. Well, excluding AJ, basically what I'm getting at is they had young and up and coming talent, but they also had guys that WWE didn't want to keep, and also guys that would get let go by WWE who still needed a paycheck. So like your main event mafia guys that used to work for Vince that now found themselves working for Dixie after Vince no longer needed them. So it felt like it was TNA was always like half glass, half. It was always half full, half empty to me with like the way the roster was.
Levesque, Hickenbottom, the Alamo, High Noon. Now, of the two, and I do appreciate that standpoint, and I'm a I mean, I'm a huge Ring of Honor fan, as noted by that and this and over here and down here. Honestly, I believe TNA will be around longer, so I would pick TNA just because of that. I don't think that Ring of Honor as a company will be around much longer as an active brand. I believe that Tony Khan will either absorb it completely into AEW or just sell off the IP entirely.
I guess I heard the whole thing wrong going into this, so now my
So,
whole
A,
answer
so
and
A's
everything I
and
said
B's,
doesn't really
so
make
yeah,
sense.
so A's and B's are essentially you pick one or the other.
Yeah.
An example which always causes a fight: Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, 100%. You're wrong
Hulk
if you pick
Hogan.
Hogan. So it's TNA, and that's the only answer. According
yeah,
to
Fuck Dave Meltzer!
one of the things that is like this is Meltzer, so he doesn't know how to form a sentence. One of the things is that like the last quarter, there were a lot of weak attendances in the last quarter. Okay, but they had a lot of shows where they got buys, which is for Danielson or Okada or MJF and Cody matches, or just good local promotion, sending guys in and lowering ticket prices, things like that. So it's how to get whatever the word is, kind of like out there. Okay, he's. I can't read Meltzer because
It's a jumbo. But
the advances suck, but it's not that bad. It really wasn't that bad the last quarter. Well, now it's bad and it looks worse. I mean, the Wednesday show, just under 2,000. 4,000 is fine for me for AEW. Under 4,000 is not so great. Under 3,000 is pretty bad. Under 2,000 is really bad, especially when you're coming into a city once a year. They got Tulsa coming up. They've never been to Tulsa. They're under 2,000 there as well. I mean, there's real concern. And then last week, I mean, St. Louis on Saturday, when I saw that number, St. Louis is a historically great wrestling city and not like they can't come there often. And they did under 3,000 on Saturday night. That's not really good at all. And, another problem is that they have every time they go back into a market, in more cases than not, the attendance goes down. How many times do they go to Chicago a year? Like 40?
At least 10. It feels like 10.
Didn't we do this last year? And they went to Chicago like 18 times.
Yeah. We counted it.
It was insane.
Well, that's part of the reason why they keep going back to the same well over and over and over again, because they're drawing in those markets. But they don't have a good enough handle on what draws a building. Because, let's be honest here, Tony Khan has been in the wrestling business all of, 4 years?
But he's been involved in the wrestling business for years as a fan since watching the ECW shows with his dad.
I'm going to say this with all due respect. In the business, the marks were better when they're on that side of the guardrail. And you're talking to myself, who's been in the wrestling business nearly 10 years, over 10 years now. Ian's been in the wrestling business for a long fucking time. Ryan, you've been in the wrestling business and promoted.
Dabbled.
Dabbled. You got more fucking concussions than fucking Benoit these days.
All the posters behind me that I'm on.
But the reality is that at the end of the day, it's hard to draw a house. It's not something that you could do like, oh yeah, tomorrow we're going to draw 8,000 people in the fucking Civic Center. No, it's not that easy. And
no, you can't look at it. It's not that easy. Draw 8,000 people in the Civic Center. Now go there a month later and expect them to spend that money again. Now go there a month later.
That's true too.
Yep.
Yeah. But they did it to our own fucking market in Atlantic City, where they came and brought Rampage and said, oh, by the way, we're bringing Shibata versus Orange Cassidy at the main event. And still didn't bring shit to the fucking... They didn't even have walk-up.
Because nobody knows who they are outside of the hardcore fans.
That is what...
But the thing is...
It's not to attempt to be a dig at AEW. It's...
Right,
the problem with that statement right there is that you're in GCW territory. The largest independent wrestling corporation right now going, and they couldn't draw.
Ryan, and I was going to bring this up, is that, and me and Sleep talk about this all the time, about how I think they need to change to a more mainstream audience. He goes, they don't have to. I still disagree with him, because if you're lowering attendance or ratings are dropping, you need to change something.
Mm-hmm.
And they do cater to the hardcore fan. Like, how many times when
But they're not.
ACW, so then they got to change something. So
Yeah.
how many times did we say that MJF turned heel and face on the same show?
Yeah.
Because they cater to whatever they want. They don't believe in traditional. The Blackpool Combat Club is a perfect example right now.
Who's
Like-
face? Who's heel?
Who's face? Who's heel?
Let me know.
Who's the
It
leader?
depends on the situation.
Yeah,
of their
who's the
opponent.
leader?
That's the answer that I got. I know you don't like it, but depends on the situation they're trying to do, because
Yeah.
there is no
Yeah.
face heel dynamic in AEW.
There's not. It depends on which way the wind blows.
Those new T-shirts aren't helping.
Yeah, you're facing this guy who's a heel, therefore you gotta be a face.
Yeah.
Even though you were a heel last show. Like,
You were
Literally
hearing the
Wednesday to
promo
Friday.
10 minutes ago.
yeah. You're a heel, you're cutting a heel promo, but now you're a face when you come out. And you
I think
get babyface.
I think Bryan Danielson needs to leave the group completely. I think he needs to go back into that.
Yep.
What the internet says he should be, the fine given social media sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to go back to pointing at the fans and saying, "You're fickle. You're fickle. You don't know what you want." He should call out the toxic marks for their own online behavior. In addition, for them trying to police Tony Khan.
Here's the thing about that, though. How much money is Tony Khan giving them? A shit ton. That will
Right.
never, ever, ever happen. Look
I mean,
at
for the purpose of interesting storyline.
right, correct.
You
Look
want
at
people watching the product and people attending the shows, so make it interesting and entertaining instead of just insert Adam Copeland against this guy he never faced before and hoping it draws. a
hoping it
crowd.
draws it. Yeah,
Right.
and you're right.
And that's
There-
my biggest. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
keep going, keep going.
My biggest opinion of AEW is I was absolutely blown away by when it started. I loved it religiously for the first 2 years because it was something new. And then Cody
COVID.
left, PM Punk showed. Yeah, COVID. Cody left, CM Punk showed up, and I watched CM Punk's Return to Rampage video so many times on YouTube that it just became something I went to like a favorite song just so I could hear that pop. And I really enjoyed watching it. But then once the backstage incident went down, that's all you heard about for the next year. And then he came back, and then it was toxic environment. And then the only good thing about Punk going to AEW was it rebuilt his bridge with WWE. So I feel there's been the past 2 years have been absolutely ridiculous because Kenny's fallen apart. And I feel that the fans are absolutely sick of the Bucks. No offense to Hangman Page, but I don't feel he's
No,
at
you
the
give
level
offense
that-
to Hangman Page. It's fine.
yeah, I don't think he's where they expected him to be at. But even MJF being hot as a heel kind of got stale as a babyface, kind of like Shawn Michaels being a babyface champion in '96, and it just wasn't packing the houses.
What's the old adage? Faces sell merchandise, heels sell tickets.
Tickets.
And
Right.
there's really no instance of that in AEW currently.
Because there's no faces or heels.
Exactly.
Otherwise, unless they were in New York, MJF was a heel. MJF got booed everywhere.
Oh yeah. He's a fucking asshole.
And MJF is a special breed. MJF would get booed in New York too if he wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah.
They took away MJF's being MJF for,
It was what made him special.
and then they took that away.
Yeah. Do we have any other news and rumors?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Let's
Um,
hit them off while we still can here.
I don't know. I forgot. Hold on.
Fuck it. No.
Another A versus B then.
Go ahead.
Sonny or Sable?
Ooh.
Sable. Wait, the bang?
I mean, however you want to pick this, sir.
Sable. Sable.
This is not fuck, marry, kill.
I mean, as a better human being, I'm gonna go with Sable.
Yeah, I don't think we're that kind of podcast to care about better.
No. Kevin Patrick removed from the SmackDown commentary team.
Haven't heard much about it since or read anything on it. Hard to trust the dirt sheets since they couldn't predict Netflix was buying Raw.
Right. Booker T's lobbying for the Nasty Boys to go into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Pity City, baby.
Well,
Also,
isn't-
Jacob Fatu is wrestling for Booker T and is fed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, if we're picking just by fucking, I think it's Sunny. But from a garbage human being versus Sable, I'm picking Sable. But I'm not a blonde person, so
I don't know. I'm not really into girls that fart when they climax. So
I am.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a running joke. Sleazy doesn't like good-looking women, so that's it. Or
I do appreciate that he calls it a joke, though.
Yeah, right.
even if it's true, it's
Okay, I'll give you an easier choice then, Sleazy. It's not ugly women or pretty women. It's you're about to be crowned champion. You get
Okay.
to choose the title reign you're going to get. Would you rather the Iron Heavy Middleweight Championship reign or the WWF Hardcore Championship reign?
Iron heavy metalweight, without question. Without
what the fuck
question.
you just said, little kid.
Without question. There's not even a chance I would pass that up. That fucking title's been on multiple ladders,
An entire crowd.
an entire crowd,
It changed
multiple
hands.
falls.
It changed hands over 200 times one night versus for two wrestlers having rock paper scissors games. All night.
Yep. Yeah. I so badly want that title. If for some reason I can get involved with DDT, who are coming to Philadelphia this year for WrestleMania, I'm so trying to get in there.
As much as I love the
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Iron Heavy Middleweight title was DDT's because DDT's.
Yep.
I call it a joke fed, and it's not disrespectful to say joke fed in the way it is like the gimmicks and cartoons are turned up to 25. Right?
Wasn't
so they
that
made
Kenny
the Iron Heavy
Omega's
Middleweight
thing?
title as their hardcore title, and it completely went off the rails. Blow Up Dolls have held this. Joey Ryan lost the title to Candice LeRae in a dream. X-Pac won the title, hit a vape pen, passed out, somebody pinned him. Veda Scott traded Chris Hero. Chris Hero gave her the belt, and Veda Scott taught him a new way to throw a roaring elbow. Like, the title change, like, the belt is absolutely hilarious, and that is the right answer in this one.
Nice.
And the last two A or B's are cop-outs, because it's the same question, but different. Would you rather the most title reigns or the longest title reign of a world championship, or the most title reigns or the longest title reigns in the tag titles?
I know what your answer is. Yo,
Longest,
Parker, heard you like tag team matches.
I'd take longest world and most tag reigns. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with longest title reign, only because I feel like good example would be Roman right now in the reign he's on. It's gonna be a long time before somebody breaks his record. So that's gonna be there for a while. But at the same time, Ric Flair being a 16-time world heavyweight champion used to be something special until WWE decided to have John Cena match the same feat.
And then hold it for 2 weeks and drop it.
Yeah. So I don't feel I feel Ric Flair should be entitled to the championship reigns that WWE doesn't acknowledge.
AEW has started acknowledging Ric Flair as a 21-time world champion now. There is that many difference of opinions on how many world titles Ric Flair won that he vacated or he dropped the belt to somebody in Puerto Rico so he didn't get stabbed and then the belt was brought back to him.
Yep.
I don't think those title reigns should count because that wasn't the original booking. So I think they need to eliminate a couple of them in how they talk about shit. There is one that should be included that should make him 17 because he was the WCW or the NWA champion, and it became the WCW International title, and they counted that as one continuous reign. I think that should have been 2 separate reigns.
Because it was a different title.
But anytime he dropped the belt because he didn't want to get stabbed in fucking Puerto Rico and then it just gave him the belt back, that's not a total change. Fuck off.
There were a couple of times where he dropped it to Harley Race on house shows and then won it back like the next
Yeah,
day
that
or
wasn't
something.
acknowledged.
That wasn't acknowledged.
Yeah, they did that a lot more often.
They did.
Yeah.
It draws up more business. Look, here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, we got a world title change.
Well, it makes me think of the time the Rockers beat the Hart Foundation and they gave the belts back to the Hearts.
Well, because the top rope broke on a tape show in the 80s weren't like, okay, let's stop the match. Fix the rope.
Yeah, but those outfits the Rockers were wearing is like my favorite gear the Rockers wore. So it would have been nice to see that on TV, both of them holding the belts.
Nothing good came out of the Rockers anyways.
Yeah, right? Fucking Marty Jannetty. Who the fuck ever heard of him? Who did he ever beat?
His daughter. Apparently the AEW rankings are coming back. So we got something.
Because Punk pulled a political card at him. Boys,
their rankings didn't matter before Punk showed up. Let's just fucking say that. So it didn't matter.
They put up the rankings of the last time the rankings were available when they did it. And FTR were the number 1 ranked team still, had been there for like 30 weeks, and people were getting title shots before them. Yeah. They fucked their own rating system, but I think this is they're going to that New Japan sports style. And
they literally did G1 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying.
I don't mind a ranking system if they follow it. Like if they actually are true to it. Like I think it's.
I love the New Japan influence with the AEW product. Honestly, not one of my favorite things from this past year was when they had the Forbidden Door show. The dual ring announcing was one of the coolest things. Like you hear it in English and then you hear it in Japanese for the same person, and I thought that was just an extra little detail.
Ryan.
So if I start a wrestling fed and get a blonde interpreter to sign language, would you think that's cool because there's 2 entrants? Like,
yes. Do you know how much extra publicity you would get for that fed if you made sure that people who were deaf or hard of hearing were able to get there?
Especially if you're marking yourself as everyone's inclusive.
Ryan don't care. Have you met Ryan? Anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't.
No, I haven't actually.
What else was there? There was something else. Oh, Ryan, just between you and me, because we're the only ones that watch TNA. Did you watch Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay?
Free TV. Absolute ridiculousness.
Yep.
TNA.
Is it on YouTube?
Sorry.
Can I check it out later?
It'll always be on YouTube somewhere.
TNA is so much easier available than the rest. I don't know if TNA has a run starting now, like they do all year. It's hard for me not to say that TNA might surpass AEW.
Well, they already are.
The second third.
In-ring quality wise. So I don't know how much if you keep it up with TNA or Impact the last couple of years. They've been on a fire. They've been on an absolute roll. In-ring wise. Obviously, AEW is a better TV deal. They're on a better network. They're drawing more fans. But the in-ring product is 1,000 times better. And I'm sorry, Ryan. Did you watch Will Ospreay versus the King of the 4-star match, Josh Alexander? My bad. Yeah, so I think that is it.
Okay, so Ian, plug yourself. This is up to you. Get yourself over.
Well, if you want to watch me open action figures and share nostalgic memories from the 80s and 90s, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ian vs. Daddybones. If you enjoy the free show and want to level up, I have a Patreon that's $3 a month. And right now there's over 105 bonus videos. You get your name in the credits as a shout out and a high five from me. And I have a second show, the Original Geeks podcast, that's only available to Patreon subscribers. And they now gave me the opportunity to give everybody a 7-day free trial just to check it out. And then you can make the decision if you want to be a subscriber. So, yeah, it's completely out there. It's free to subscribe to on YouTube, and it's on my Facebook page as well. And Ian Daddybones on Threads and Instagram at the moment.
Thank you. Ryan, put yourself over.
Ryan Buckotch, Reddit, and Twitter. And 8 hours ago was the Reddit comment of the episode. Breaking news. It's not the comment itself, it's specifically the thread that started. Breaking news. Netflix has canceled WWE after just 2 seasons. The hit wrestling show was canceled last night after the season finale on a tense cliffhanger. We'll never know if Cody manages to finish the story on his 4th attempt at WrestleMania 42.
I saw somebody posted a picture or a clip of Joe Biden at his inauguration when Pyro was going off, saying Cody at the age of 54 when he's finally completing the story. And they have Biden coming out set to Cody's music. So when Biden's pyro goes off, he has his arms doing the whoa.
Phenomenal. No, that's AJ Styles. Excuse me. I'm at TWS Sleazy.
TWS Fat Man.
We are Sleazy Fat Man on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Please go on over there and give us a like. Videos you can find at twitch.tv/SleazyTheFatMan, youtube.com/SleazyTheFatMan, and premium videos on onlyfans.com/The Wrestling Show. Make sure you like, subscribe on your favorite platform, and click that notification icon on YouTube if you do follow us there. You can also find all sorts of content at thewrestlingshow.com, including articles, merch, and a ton of other cool stuff. Of course, you can get this podcast every Saturday morning and wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and Podbean. Don't hesitate to rate us on your favorite platform. Click automatic downloads. Really does help us out. So with a fuck you to Dietz, who left early because he's a papa. Fuck you, but thank you to Ryan, who also is a papa. A special thank you to Ian for coming on the show tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, man.
And as always, for Sleazy,
The Fat Man.
this is The Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
Have
Fuck
a great
Dave.
one.
No, I do a bit here. Hold on. Fuck Dave. Fuck Dave Meltzer. We haven't said that enough today. Fuck Tony Khan is alleged coke habit. A hot dog's not a sandwich. A sub is not a sandwich. A burger is a sandwich. And we will review the Royal Rumble and see who is actually right, which is me always.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun.